Start on the second full page where the duet happens. 1 and 2 and...
Well, at first I was a little nervous since there were so many people, but then Dr. Dories was smiling and he was like, just relax. And then it was really nice. We just did it.
Shepherds, run along and bring your vine to play. On your way to Bethlehem without delay.
The concert was a great success. We had 120 singers in 4 different choirs from ages 5 to 14. They have been studying all semester for this one main event, and our youngest choirs, the Cherub Singers, are focusing on just finding and exploring their voices, and so they did a couple of Christmas tunes, and we went from there all the way up to our oldest choir, which is really doing complicated classical music.
It's an art form that by nature is communal. So for any community, it is going to bring you together. It's going to show you, what's important, what's truly important in life. And for me, I believe that that's music and children and faith, and that's what we stress as part of our choir.
It's a joy to have so many people in the room. It means the community, we're really building a community around this program about children singing, sacred music, and leadership, children leading the way. We try and give all the kids a leadership role, whether it's a solo in the choir or reading scriptural texts, and it really pays off. We know it because we fill the house every time.
What a gift it is for South Bend and for our community to see your friends, there, and you're all focusing on the child, and your joy is so great because what you love most is what they love most, and you're all focused, so it brings people that you wouldn't expect together. And I feel like it's a real fulfillment of the prophecy that a little child shall lead them, because it is. The child, when we have our focus on the child, a lot of our differences melt away. And when the child is singing, beauty is there, and beauty will save the world.
Chamber choir, and I've been in it since the beginning of the Notre Dame Children's Choir, and it has been such a great experience for me. It is really so much fun. Everyone's so great at teaching, and just such a nice choir to be in.
The surprising things to me was like how we kind of made a community and like what their routine was, because it wasn't new in the way of singing, but new in the way of like different friendships.
At the beginning of every rehearsal, we say our covenant together. And our covenant is, love is the spirit of this choir, and respect for all is our guide. We dwell together in peace, seek Christ in love, and we help one another. This is our covenant. And we remind ourselves that even though we're here to make music and have fun and see our friends and have a snack and socialize, we're really here for those important elements of humanity, our faith and our community, and coming together for something greater than ourselves.
If you're going to have that top select choir that does really high-level repertoire, you've got to train them year by year by year, and each grade level has a specific set of skills that they need to learn, that they're capable of learning. So 5 and 6-year-olds are exploring their voices, 7 and 8-year-olds are learning how to match pitch, 9 and 10-year-olds are learning how to sing with 2 parts at the same time, and by the time you get to 11 to 14, you're doing 3-part, 4-part harmonies.
I see them grow musically, and I hear their voices mature, and I hear them, they're able to match pitch better, they're able to sing together at the same time, or in different parts when they need to. They're able to do that more confidently. It's been a pleasure to see the children form their friendships. And you really see kids that may start out a little bit shy or maybe a little quiet, and they come into their own, they find their friends, and I think every singer in at least my choir that I see all the time, they really feel like they belong.
It's just like everyone's really excited and happy, and the singing's super fun, and yeah, it's just really fun to come over.
I like to sing the songs in church, and also I play the piano, so that's what really gets me into it.
The choir directors are Mr. Wright and Miss Lebry. They're really patient. They really help us to focus, and they're positive a lot, and they always clap for us after we do something, and they always say that we do a great job, and so it really helps because they're always in a positive attitude.
I think that children often are overlooked, that we think of children as being cute and sweet, and they are really, they're geniuses, they're brilliant, they have the capacity to lead. And one of the things that I believe very strongly in is that if you put children in leadership positions, in positions where their voices are heard by adults, they can affect the way those institutions are run, our churches and our governments. What I have been taught by these children is an incredible sense of compassion and love. They make friends easily. They say I'm sorry very easily when they hurt somebody else's feelings. It's just natural that they try and help each other. We foster that ethos in our program.
Our daughter was in second grade, I think, when we heard her actually sing for the first time, and we thought, she's got a gift, what do we do? And so we heard about the Notre Dame Children's Choir, and it's just been amazing to see her develop that talent.
What I have seen with our two daughters is a certain degree of confidence. We've seen a certain wonderment at singing in Latin, at participating in Vespers and lessons and carols at Our Lady of Loretto. The visual and dramatic and musical elements of Noah's Flood on campus last year. It seems there's no shortage of opportunities for children and students these days to be involved in various organizations, youth organizations, but this is the one among several others where they really just seem to step forward and own it.
In all of the activities that my kids have been involved in, a lot of it has been music, saxophone, marching band, all the way through Notre Dame. There's never been an opportunity like this afforded to us, and afforded to all the families in Michiana at no cost to them, which is a huge, huge benefit. It's a wonderful thing that Notre Dame supports.
The parents are vital to what we do. I mean, in addition to just driving them there, it is the parents who make it all possible, from catching a fainting child to helping set up risers to supporting the tour. We're a free program. We don't require any funding, but we do ask that parents contribute their time and energy to support the children.
Music is so much a part of our life because I was in a children's choir. And that made me want to be involved in music in my church. I became a cantor very young. I've continued cantoring. I've led Advent lessons and carols programs for children. And when I see that influence in my life, I can just imagine what it's doing for each one of these in their own paths, and how these are seeds that are so powerfully and so well planted at an early age. Just watching them sing, I have great hope for the future of our church and for sacred music and for our culture in general.
Sanctus, Sanctus, Sanctus Dominus, Deus
The children's choir has come a long way in just a few short years. After the end of our second full singing year, we took a national tour from South Bend through Indianapolis to Cincinnati, Columbus, Philadelphia, New York City, and back through Pittsburgh. We did essentially 9 cities and 10 concerts in 9 days. It was a whirlwind tour, but the kids had experiences that some of them had never had before, leaving Indiana, going to New York City for the first time, swimming in the Atlantic Ocean in New Jersey. We saw a Broadway musical, some of them for the first time, Leonard Bernstein's On the Town. And it was a magical trip where they not only became better friends, but became better musicians along the way. Since we've come back, the choirs have expanded. We've added a high school choir called the Seraphim Choir for boys whose voices have changed and for girls whose voices have grown. We've also added a choir called the Prelude Choir, which is for parents with toddlers and infants to come and learn songs that they can sing together at home. We've also started the Lyric Choir for singers with special needs. We have many families who enroll 3 and 4 and 5 children in the program, but perhaps the 6th child has a special need, and we, until now, didn't have the appropriate teachers or curriculum. Now we have those 2 factors in place, and we're excited to be able to start this new program where all members of a family can be engaged in the Notre Dame Children's Choir. We're also excited because we started 2 satellite choirs, one in Elkhart, Indiana, and one in Fort Wayne, Indiana. In addition to training singers, we now have an organ training program. We are heavily invested in trying to bring back the art of organ playing in our churches, in our communities. And in order to do so, we want to start with training children. So we have about 10 children who receive weekly lessons from our teachers, and they practice on local church organs, and then they go and practice during the week. And then at the end of each year, they give a small recital on one of the organs at Notre Dame. And our hope is that over 5, 10, 15 years, these children will grow and become the next generation of church music leaders. We offer singers more than just musical activities in the Notre Dame Children's Choir. We provide experiences beyond the classroom. In 2015, the Chamber Choir participated in a TED Talk at the University of Notre Dame titled, "What If Children Are More Than Cute?" When presented with that topic, the singers decided to write their own 1-minute speeches and present them in front of each other in the choir, and then they each selected the best 5 or 6, which they cobbled together. We then brought in a student film editor who filmed the kids doing their speeches, and then he cobbled that together into a 3-minute video of them talking about how they want to be seen by adults. That was interwoven into this TED Talk where I spoke, and one of our singers actually was the lead speaker. She got to express to the audience how she wanted to be viewed by the adults around her. One of the goals of the Notre Dame Children's Choir is to create and commission new music specifically written for children's voices that is sacred. So we have engaged many composers, but one in particular is J.J. Wright. He is a jazz pianist and composer and a student in the Sacred Music Graduate Program at the University of Notre Dame. In 2015, we asked him to write a cantata specifically for the chamber choir that included bass, piano, drums, as well as a small orchestra, as well as child soloists and adult soloists. We premiered it in December of 2015, and then we received a grant to record it for commercial release. We partnered with a company called Dynamic Catholic, and with their help, we've gotten the message out nationally, and our CD, O Emmanuel, that's the title of the cantata, has now reached the #1 spot on the classical music Billboard's charts. We also recorded a second album called O Day of Peace, which is a compilation of the favorite hymns of the chamber choir. They're arrangements of hymns done by our resident composer and arranger, Hilary Dories, and myself. We traveled down to St. Meinrad, Indiana, which is a 150-year-old Benedictine monastery. The kids stayed the night in this beautiful space and recorded for 3 days. And this CD is going to come out just before Easter in 2017. The choirs have grown tremendously over the past 4 years, and we're still excited for what is yet to come. We have opportunities for the kids to record and to travel nationally and spread our music and the community that we've built around sacred music and our excitement for choral singing with a much broader audience.